Yes, it is Rams week, and there is good news on the 49ers front. Talanoa Hufanga is back full participation in practice, which means playing on Sunday in Los Angeles is more and more likely. So the veteran safety, 4 years, it's been 10 months since Talanoa Hufanga has been on the field in a game after tearing his ACL, but it's looking more and more like he will be back on the field on Sunday in Los Angeles facing the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Rams are incredibly beat up. Now, the 49ers, of course, are without Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, but getting another playmaker back on the defense is only going to help. Um, I think for the Rams game, you're going to see increased production from Brandon Ayuk, who's just getting more and more. They're rebuilding more and more the chemistry between him and Brock Purdy. Brandon Ayuk in week one, 43 snaps, 60%. Week two, 61%, which is 87%. So I just feel like that trend is going to keep going. Now, he didn't have big plays, huge plays in the game against the Vikings, but Kyle Shanahan said, hey, there were times where we thought it was going to be a big play. Protection broke down, so it didn't go to him. But I think in the Rams game on Sunday, with a bunch of defenders out, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua are out, but they also have a safety out. They have their cornerbacks out. They put two guys on injured reserve today. That's Jonah Jackson, their starting guard, and John Johnson. Cooper Kupp, John Johnson is a safety. Cooper Kupp is doubtful. He was not placed on IR. But listen to these names. Puka Nakua, injured reserve. Steve Avila, guard, injured reserve. Joe Noteboom, injured reserve. Darius Williams, cornerback, injured reserve. Connor McDermott, offensive tackle, injured reserve. Guard, KT Leviston, injured reserve. Trey Tomlinson, cornerback. Laurel Murchison, defensive tackle. Tyler Higbee. So all of these guys, Darion Kendrick, cornerback. I mean, they are their injury rate is close to the 49ers in 2020. 49ers 2020 when it was when everybody blew out something in the New York either Giants game or Jets game in week one and week two of that awful season 2020. Really good year in 2019, went to the playoffs, but then in 2020 they were set to have a great year and everybody got injured. Kind of feels like the Rams are on that level at this point. But for the 49ers, Debo is obviously out, but Debo has a new podcast and it's on Bleacher Report. And he said 1 to 2 weeks. He said, if you're a fantasy owner of Debo Samuel, bench him for 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. He's probably going to be two. But he says he'll be back after that. Juwan Jennings, 35 snaps in week one, which is 49%, 38 snaps in Minnesota. I expect to see him more on the field. And also Chris Conley. I would say Chris Conley more than Ronnie Bell, just because Ronnie Bell seems to be kind of be going through a growing phase, kind of that sophomore kind of slump-ish. He started out his rookie season really well, but kind of didn't finish it well, kind of was taken out of the punt return position, and now Jacob Cowing is doing it. Of course, Jacob Cowing, rookie, muffed to punt, but Kyle Shanahan didn't seem too, I guess, worried about it. Just said, I'm sure Jacob Cowing explained. Then when he waved for the fair catch, kind of threw him off balance, and then he didn't make the catch. So I think it would be really interesting to see Jacob Cowing more involved in the offense. He's got such speed. We've seen him in the preseason. So just depends on how well he's learning his blocks, his pass protection, his chips. If he's doing all of those things, then expect to see him more on the field on Sunday. So, the one thing I'm just not worried or hesitant about, but the only thing I think that maybe I think issue is too strong of a word, but maybe seen on the field with Talanoa Hufanga coming back is that he and Jair Brown have not been on the field together. They will be on the field this week going into the Rams week, practicing together. They are going to have to communicate a lot with each other. But I would think with those two on the field, you're not going to see what happened in Minneapolis. You're not going to see the mix up at safety where Justin Jefferson took the roof off of it and had the 97-yard touchdown. I think that they'll have better communication, but it is going to be not as easy right at first because they're not going to be totally used to each other on the field. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Also, I'm interested to see how the defensive line bounces back from Minneapolis. Now, it wasn't an awful game, but Nick Bosa had 2 sacks. Leonard Floyd, no stats at all, no hurries at all, no pressure on Sam Darnold. But, y I think he's got a ton of talent, and I think the position opposite of Nick Bosa is really good for him, and against this depleted Rams offensive line, this is the perfect situation for the 49ers defensive line to bounce back. Fred Warner is gonna be Fred Warner. Unbelievable game in Minneapolis, forced fumbles. He's had 3 on the season already. Um, I just think Fred Warner is going to have another all-pro year, of course, and he's, just playing lights out, hair on fire. So great situation on the defensive side. Really on the offensive side of the ball, they're going to have to adjust and get the plays right without Christian McCaffrey and without Deebo Samuel. Um, JP Mason has done a really good job, but I would think the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan wants to get him more involved in the passing game. No one's ever going to beat Christian McCaffrey, but Jordan Mason did get a jugs machine during the offseason and practiced catching passes with his dad. He's been more involved in the pass game from what we saw during training camp. I would just like to see Kyle Shanahan use him more as a check down. And I think Brock Purdy will only get better as he's allowed to do that. And I think George Kittle and Kyle Juszczyk, Joanne Jennings are great targets for Brock Purdy to really kind of get back into the swing of things. Not that Brock Purdy hasn't played well, he just hasn't played to the potential that we've seen him play in the past. So looking more from Brock Purdy. I know Kyle Shanahan said we're not going to put it all on his shoulders, but I think that, as the weeks go on, I think Brock Purdy will get better and better. And I think getting on the same page and rebuilding that chemistry with Brandon Ayuk are going to make a big difference. So Talanoa Hufanga is coming back. Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey out again. Otherwise, everybody, all the 53 man, well, it's 52 right now, the entire squad, full participation in practice. Deebo Samuel was the only one who was not full participation. So that means Yetur Gross-Matos came out of the game healthy. D. Winters came out of the game healthy. So they will be available for Los Angeles Rams game. Now, for those of you that follow me that are going to be at the Los Angeles Rams game, which I would think should be some of you, because it's going to be 62% at least 49ers fans in Los Angeles. And granted, this is not a new thing, but please, if you are there, get there early, hang out by the 49ers tunnel, say hi. But I would expect the 49ers faithful to be loud, make the Rams go on a silent count, and just, it's like another home game. It's what I know everybody is really kind of called Levi South. Should be a fun game to be at. It's the first divisional matchup. The Rams are injured. The 49ers are healthy pretty much. So, but they can't take the Rams lightly. It's always a good divisional game. Kyle Shanahan versus Sean McVay. It should be a fun game to watch. Don't forget to watch 49ers Now. Matt and I shot it today. We streamed it today at 4 o'clock. There's another episode tomorrow. It'll be me and Carlos Ramirez. That'll be tomorrow at 4 p.m. We also have the podcast, 49ers Talk. That's Wednesday and Sunday after the game. That also goes on YouTube as a video. So definitely check that out. Please say hi. And I hope to see you all in Los Angeles or somewhere along the lines during this season. I'll give you more updates soon. Please subscribe. Please share with friends. And also, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever it is, Threads. I'm here. I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, Jennifer Lee Chan. Everything is the same handle, Jennifer Lee Chan. Reach out. Let me know what you'd like to talk about, and we'll chat soon. All right. You guys, it's always fun to talk to you, and I'll keep you updated as much as possible. All right. Talk to you soon.